All right, here we are at job up in Grand Lake. Chase, you guys remember Chase from the last video? Chase is going to give us a walk around here. So we did a fire mitigation job, basically just applied Firewise thinning principles here. Yep. So you want to walk us around the job?
Yeah, absolutely. So first day of the job, we started right here where those bushes are. There was actually a log cabin that we dismantled and chipped down. Well, not a full log cabin, about a half log cabin, but we still got rid of it. Cleared this whole area out, and we started moving this way towards where the chipper's at. We started feconning in there, removed a couple of dead trees that were just laying around up to the property edge. We just kind of started working our way towards the backside. We did this whole flat area right here. Unfortunately, this property does dip down quite a bit, and that was where, you know, it was a little bit more difficult. We hired a couple more hands to come help us haul a lot of the smaller branches and stuff up the hill. We actually eventually started using the winch on the chipper, and that was a lifesaver. I mean, I hiked a couple of branches up and down that hill, and I was just like, this is not gonna work. So I told the guys, I'm like, here's the thing, just pile them all into a pile, and we'll just winch them all up at once to make it way easier on you guys instead of hiking up and down this hill all day, because my calves were hurting just after a couple of branches, I'll be completely honest. So, yeah, we just kind of moved all the way around. If you actually want to go check it out.
Yeah, let's go check it out.
Yeah. The one issue we did have is that there's a lot of rocks in this area. So we had to be really careful when we were feconning this entire property, just making sure we didn't dull our blades or anything. The excavator came in super handy. So see all those big rocks right there?
Yeah.
There was a ton of bushes up in those rocks we used. The excavator pulled them all out, put them in a nice big pile right into an open area without any rocks. We were able to fecon it with no problems.
See that machine over there? The white one? That red head on it is called the Fecon, or the brand of it is a Fecon. It is a forestry mulcher. And what do we use the Fecon for?
We use the Fecon for just mulching up all this stuff right here, mulching up any small debris on the ground, mulching up small trees like this. We can take down small stuff like that. Just getting anything really tiny that we don't want to throw into the chipper. Anything large you can throw in the chipper, and we can just spread around this whole property.
Yeah.
So the Fecon comes in really handy.
So when he's talking about the chipper, we're referring to that green machine right there, the one Bandit 19 XPC. It's on tracks, so we can go all throughout here. And can you just talk us through a little bit about like the thinning process here? Like, what did we start with here, and why did it end up looking like this?
So we just had a lot of smaller trees like this that you see right there. Basically, we just wanted to thin it out, leave some of these taller standing ones. We actually did not take really any of these big tall standing trees except for a couple down on the hillside over that way.
Yeah.
We felt that if we took a lot of these big standing trees, that would really make this area look really naked, and we didn't want that for the customer or anything. So we just wanted to thin out these smaller ones, make it look little cleaner in here, and then leave the big tall standing ones to fill it in really.
Yeah, this is more so based on customer preference. So once you get on once we get on a fire mitigation job, we extensively talk with the customer about what they want their forest to look like. So whenever we apply thinning practices for fire mitigation, we're looking to either thin new growth trees, or we come in and take a lot of the older trees to reduce the fuels associated with the fire hazard. And so it's kind of one or the other. I've talked a lot with the Forest Service about this, and you have to do one or the other to achieve fire mitigation. Whenever we put space in between trees in the forest like this, we are achieving a long-term forest health perspective as well. So we're creating more resources, nutrients, and water for the trees that we do leave. And the long-term goal is for this forest to grow up stronger and healthier and have less fuels in the meantime for fire hazard. What we're looking for is mainly to get any vegetation like this and those juniper bushes out away from the house. We look at removing anything within 5 feet of the house. This is kind of where vegetation starts, and we've given that much of a buffer in between the house.
So went down here and did the same thing we did up here. Just thinned out a lot of the smaller trees. We took 2 large standing trees like these down at the very bottom, pulled them back with the winch from the top with our chipper, dropped them this way, hooked them all the way down at the bottom, and drug them up this hill. And that's what we basically had to do with all the trees, just because it's so steep and it just takes so much manpower to bring everything up, so much energy.
So you can see they really put a spacing plan on these trees down here below their deck.
There's a lot more bushes and shrubs and debris on the ground compared to up here. And that's unfortunate just because we can't get the Fecon down and up as safely. There is one path that we did down this way where we cut those 2 trees down where we were able to get the Fecon upwards. But unfortunately, this is just so rocky and so steep, we just didn't want to risk bringing the Fecon up here. Get the chipper down about halfway with a little bit of finagling. We hooked the skid steer up with a chain and kind of moved them down both at the same time using the skid steer to kind of anchor it into place so it doesn't just start going. And that worked out quite well, actually. Getting it up was a bit more of a challenge, but all in all, we were able to do it.
Cool.
There was a huge pile of logs stretching from that tree all the way past that other tree with the pink ribbon on it. And it was a little bit more difficult because trying to pick them up with the excavator, they were so rotten, you just barely touch them and they just disintegrate. So a lot of it was had to be done by hand, and then obviously bring the Fecon in and chew up all the ones that were completely rotten. Same thing all along here, just using the wood chipper to haul up any logs.
A lot of big rocks to navigate on this hillside, huh?
That was one of the big issues with this spot. We had a bunch of logs down in that valley right there. We had to position the chipper just perfectly. Same thing in there. We didn't really go in there too much. I just went in and pulled out a lot of the smaller dead stuff with the winch and everything. And then if you look way back in there, we had chopped down a couple of logs and winched them all the way over here. And it was nice because we were able to get the Fecon back in this little tiny area by his driveway as well up in this area as well.
And this little pocket was per customer request to keep, correct?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, so kept trees here, kept trees over here for the privacy, but created a little bit of a break here.
We did thin out a little bit of this, but per customer request, he wanted to leave it a little bit thicker, again, because the road's right there. He wanted the privacy.
Yep.
He said privacy was very important to him. So.
Okay. Morning, Josh.
Social media influencers do. Don't look like you're working.
There was one really big, dead, ugly tree right here that we did take. It was completely dead, big and bushy. We were able to drop him inwards, avoiding power lines and everything. Chipped him up. Yeah, made this corner just look so much better. The thing was an eyesore.
Okay, well, thanks for doing the walk around here.
Absolutely.
I'll let you get back to it.
All right. Well,
Keep Josh happy.
Oh, tried it.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.